Hi guys, Con here. Alright, so over the weekend, the Proton X70 has attracted plenty of attention and speculation. So to recap, last week Proton organized a media preview at COE. Okay, they invited us into the R&D center to view the X70 in person, unveiled the car's name, and allowed and gave us a close look at 2 out of a reported 4 variants to be offered with the X70. Now, the pricing of that car, even indicative pricing, is conspicuously missing from any announcement. Okay, they didn't even want to mention a price range, and of course, it was a no camera affair. We were asked to hand over our mobile phones, which were sealed inside envelopes, okay, and then returned to us after the event was over. And then of course they gave us a bunch of official photos which were flashed in my previous video, and you would have seen all those photos if you have read Autobus or Proton or Kalis or whoever lah, okay, the photos would have been all over internet now, but in case you haven't seen them, I'm flashing it into this video right now. Right, so and along the week, and immediately shortly after all the reports come out, right, there was an unofficial price list that popped up immediately. And of course, because the thing is that because Proton never even gave an indicative price list, right, and people are so interested and fascinated with this car, right, naturally there's a lot of guessing and speculation and all that. So the unofficial price list, which Proton has since denounced it as fake news, okay, pit the standard variant, okay, the Kosong spec model of the X70 at what, 85 or 86,000 ringgit, then the executive mid-spec two-wheel drive model at 96,000 ringgit, and then the executive mid-spec all-wheel drive at what, 114,000, and finally the range topping premium, which is available only as a two-wheel drive model, priced at what, over 130,000 ringgit. Yeah, so well, at first glance, the way I looked at it, 130,000 ringgit for the executive two-wheel drive for the premium two-wheel drive model. Well, that is certainly plausible, but the way I looked at it is 86,000 ringgit for the standard spec. That one, I'm a little skeptical. But in any case, Proton has said that, oh, there's no such thing and all that. But until and unless they announce the price, which honestly, right, based on what's currently happening, right, I think they should just announce the price. But that's a different story. 87,000 ringgit, not likely. You see, because firstly, right, the gap, okay, between the base spec and the top spec for what essentially is a mechanically identical car is amazing. It is huge. Okay, it is very unlikely for a car to run with one engine lineup, okay, one engine, the 1.8 turbo automatic, to range from 86,000 all the way up to 130,000. That is like what, that is a 60,000 ringgit price range. It is too big. So to me, the way I look at it, highly unlikely. And so since now that I'm stopped, okay, I've just did a bit of research on the internet. Okay, so I've looked at prices of cars in China, okay, and so I did a little bit of comparison lah, okay, but I've narrowed it down to just the CR-V and CX-5, okay, as a basis of comparison. All these cars are locally assembled in China, okay, and I also only looked at variants of the CR-V and CX-5 that are available in Malaysia as a basis of comparison. So the CR-V 1.5 turbo, okay, the pricing of the CR-V 1.5 turbo in China ranges from 170,000 renminbi to 250,000 renminbi. Okay, the CX-5 2-liter two-wheel drive ranges from 180,000 to 200,000 renminbi, and the 2.5 two-wheel drive there's only one variant of the the 2.5 two-wheel drive, it is about 220,000 renminbi. So in China, the Boyue, okay, the 1.8 liter turbo model, okay, I think there's another 2-liter model, and there's also a 1.86 speed manual, but because those variants have nothing to do with Malaysia, I've ignored them. The 1.8 turbo automatic model in China ranges from 118,000 renminbi to 154,000 renminbi. Okay, this is the top. So I've also excluded the top spec all-wheel drive model of the Boyue, because that specification, that trim level is not available in Malaysia based on reports. I'm only looking at the 1.8 turbo two-wheel drive top spec with all the bells and whistles. That is 154,000 renminbi. Okay, so here's a pointed comparison. So we take a look at the base spec 1.5 turbo CRV, 170,000 renminbi. CX5 2-liter two-wheel drive, 180,000 renminbi. And the Boyue 1.8 turbo two-wheel drive top spec at 154,000 renminbi. So there is a gap of about 14,000 renminbi, and thereabouts of 10,000 ringgit after conversion. So now that we established this, right, now we can more or less peg. We can also guesstimate what sort of price we can expect in the Malaysian market, because here in Malaysia, right, the CRV 1.5 turbo ranges from 151 to 163,000 ringgit, and then the CX5 2-liter two-wheel drive, okay, is priced at 134,000 ringgit. Okay, and because Mazda has not released their prices with SST, so for the CX5 I'm comparing GST prices lah. Okay, 134,000 ringgit. It should drop further than, it should drop a bit more. Okay, maybe 132,000 ringgit on the road, and the 2.5 two-wheel drive at 161,000 ringgit from GST time. Right? So rata, right, we can see after conversion lah. After conversion, if you take the car prices in China and after conversion, all these cars, right, are cheaper than they are in Malaysia, because the CRV 1.5 turbo, for instance, after conversion, it is 103,000 to 151,000 ringgit, and the CX5 2-liter is 108,000 to 121,000 ringgit. So either way you look at it, the CRV and CX5 are both cheaper in China than they are in Malaysia, and I do not believe the X70 will buck that trend. Okay, because here's the thing. The car is coming from China to Malaysia. Okay, as you all know, right, when it comes to car prices, you can't directly convert, you know, from market to market directly based on, you know, okay, this is the price in China, this will be the price in Malaysia. You have to look at it from the perspective of, okay, what is the price of this car relative to its rivals? Then you see how all those rivals are priced here, and then you have a more accurate guesstimate. So if I were to look at prices, the current prices of the CRV and the CX5, I would say that 130,000 ringgit for the Boyue turbo, sorry, for the X70 turbo two-wheel drive premium, it's not an unreasonable guesstimate. Maybe we can see it go down to 125,000, but I really am not looking at anything. I'm really not looking at a 5-figure price tag lah, at least not for the executive model. The standard model, okay, that one I am willing to entertain the notion that it may be below 100,000 ringgit, just to bring the car's entry price below the 100k mark. But the top spec with all the lane lane departure assist as active cruise control below 100k, not likely. So I would think really a realistic what you call expectation for the X70's price will be about 90,000+, okay, for the entry spec, all the way up to 125 to 130,000 for the top spec two-wheel drive model. Okay, now some people are saying, you know, hey, it should be priced low, it should be priced at 80,000 or whatever. But here's another thing that I want to point out. Now, when I was looking at the Geely website, okay, I spotted there was another model in the lineup. It is a B segment SUV called the GS. Okay, and in China that is priced at about 77,800 to 117,000 renminbi. Now, that GS is a B segment SUV the size of a Honda HR-V, and that model looks like a very promising prospect for Malaysia. And I'm speaking from a more speculative than an authoritative position on this, but I am willing to bet that that B segment SUV is very likely to be considered for Malaysia, especially looking at Honda's success with the HR-V. So if Proton were to price the X70 at 80,000, where are they going to slot that B segment SUV into the picture when it comes along? So I would say that there is doubly extra likelihood that the X70 will not start at a price below 90,000 ringgit. In fact, I would say that the best we can hope for is for it to start at the high 90s and slowly move up from there. So that way, when that B segment SUV comes into the picture, we are looking at something about 75 at the 75 to 8 to 95 bracket. Okay, so that is that. Now, then also you may ask, right, why is it that cars can be cheaper in China than it is in Malaysia? As you can see, you look at the CR-V, the CX-5, both of these cars, they are cheaper than what we get here in Malaysia, and the answer is simple. It is volume. China, simply put, has far bigger economies of scale than we have here in Malaysia. I mean, put it this way lah, it's like you go pasar malam, buy fruits, for example. Maybe this fruit, the seller will sell you, okay, 4 ringgit a biji, but if you buy 3, it's 10 ringgit. So, you know, if you amplify that into a much bigger scale, in China, the Chinese market, okay, in a matter of days, they sell as many cars in Malaysia as we do in a year. So naturally, the Chinese market, you know, when it comes to price negotiation with the principal, they then have the bargaining power to demand lower price per unit, okay, compared to Malaysia. So that is why in China, the CR-V is cheaper, the CX-5 is cheaper, and no doubt whatsoever, the Boyue will be cheaper in China than it is in Malaysia. Then the X70 will be in Malaysia. And also bear in mind one more thing. The X70, okay, is an engineering variation of the Boyue that required conversion to right-hand drive, that required re-engineering a number of key systems, okay, remolding the dashboard, and you know, also plus all that man hours spent on tropicalizing that car, okay, that is also going to be sold in a lesser volume than the standard car. So you tell me, what is the likelihood that car is going to be priced equivalent than the base car in China? I would love that to be the case, but I am pessimistic about that lah. Right? So yeah, so those are my thoughts on the Proton X70, and you know, a bit of a speculative guess on its possible pricing, right? Yeah, so anyways, my previous X70 video, fantastic response, fantastic comments from down there. I enjoyed responding and replying to each of you guys. I do hope to hear more from you. Drop a line in the comment section below, and oh yeah, hit the subscribe button. Okay, until my next video, thanks for watching. Bye for now.